welcome. Good run. First time.
You woke up in a circle and work up on me, baby. Keep working, Mr. Worker. Keep wind up on me. Keep working it, keep working it. Keep wind up on me. Keep working it, keep working it. Keep wind up on me. Keep working it, keep working it. Keep wind up on me. Keep working it, keep working it. Keep wind up on me. Tan tana tan pe sari dunia dole re. Tan tana tan pe sari dunia dole re.
Welcome to the Ken Rampersaud Show on Island Zone Radio and on Facebook Live. Let's go. I'm with DJ Bolt. Let's go.
Circle and jamming on me, baby. You're pushing it up further and wind up on me. And you woke up in a circle and work up on me, baby. Keep working, Mr. Worker. Keep wind up on me. Keep working it, keep working it. Keep wind up on me. Keep working it, keep working it. Keep wind up on me. Keep working it, keep working it. Keep wind up on me. Keep working it, keep working it. Keep wind up on me. Mere patli kamar lambe baal re. Mere patli kamar lambe baal re. Savriya mein aari raho ke chali jao re. Savriya mein aari raho ke chali jao re. Maine bindiya lagayi si chaal re. Oh maine bindiya lagayi si chaal re. Savriya mein aari raho ke chali jao re. Savriya mein aari raho ke chali jao re. Hold on, bring the beat back. Back. Hold on, shake your bum back. Push it back, wind back, wind back. Push it back, push it back, wind back, push it back. अखियाँ हमारी गजरे की डलियाँ, दियाले की धूरियाँ, वो सजनी गलियाँ. अखियाँ हमारी गजरे की डलियाँ, दियाले की धूरियाँ, वो सजनी गलियाँ. सारी नगरिया में बिना लाली के होत मेरा लाल रे. ओ बिना लाली के होत मेरा लाल रे. सावरिया में आरी रहो के चली जाओ रे. सावरिया में आरी रहो के चली जाओ रे. मेरे पतली कमर लंबे बाल रे. मेरे पतली कमर लंबे बाल रे. सावरिया में आरी रहो के चली जाओ रे. सावरिया में आरी रहो के चली जाओ रे. मोहे लागी रे.
Good evening, and welcome to the Ken Rampersaud Show here on Island Zone Radio and on Facebook Live. What a pleasant afternoon it is and a good weather, right? It's good to have you guys tune in. I see Bansi Prasad, she's saying, good afternoon, DJ Ken Rampersaud, nice music. Well, I have to give credit to DJ Bolt, who is the DJ for this program, the Ken Rampersaud Show, Chit Chat with Shanaz and Ken, and the SMS. Musical sensation. So good, we have one DJ, and he started the show on fire this evening. Priya Prasad, a very good evening to you guys. We are doing, right now, we are streaming on Facebook Live, on YouTube, and on Island Zone Radio. So today is the first day we are doing that, and so I'm happy about that. So a lot of people can get the message. And I want to tell you guys who are tuning in for the first time here on the Ken Rampersaud Show, it's a show of upliftment, to share information. As some of you may not know, that I am a nurse, has been a nurse for over 30 years, and so I'm sharing some experience with you guys. And I always tell people, no, I'm not the radio guy, but a guy who know a lot of stuff in nursing, who've spent many years in addiction and mental health. So I'll be talking today more so about the lungs, pneumonia. I'll talk about the COVID-19, what we can do. Some of you may not know, but I was diagnosed with COVID-19 in April the 7th, I believe, in 2020. I was very sick for actually like over 6 weeks. Thank God I'm alive, I'm kicking, I'm grateful, and you know, it's a good thing. Anytime you are above the ground, you are a good place. And so I'm always saying thank you. And you know, Thanksgiving was just a couple of days ago. You know, and when I reflect on Thanksgiving, I reflect on Thanksgiving Day as every day. I want to say thanks to everything that I got in life, that I was blessed with. I say blessed. I don't say luck no more, because a lot of things fall into place of all the things that I wanted in life. And in 2 days' time will be the first time, the 2 days I'll be share the first time Ken Rampersaud Show here on Island Zone Radio. Sorry about that. I launched a show 1 year ago, and in 2 days, I'll celebrate that. So I want to say thank you very much for all our viewers, especially those of you who are watching for the first time. Those of you who are watching for 1 year now has been following me. To my good friend, Maria Harris, who has been one of the administrator of the Ken Rampersaud Show, and also Priya Prasad from Guyana. And we have also that helping behind the scene, Rajiv Nandalal, who live in Mount Vernon. Then we have DJ Bolt is the player from day one, our DJ. He still evolving into that great DJ. So I'm so glad that he is fighting up, putting some good music for you guys today. Probably next year we'll have some hotter music, since it's 1 year that I'm on the radio. So again, let me say hello to some of you guys who are on. Shiv Turan, good evening. Joy, you are so blessed, Ken. Yes, I count my blessings every day. Joy, thank you very much for sending those flowers for you-know-who. Very kind of you. I didn't get it. Thanks to you. And also Maria Harris, who have always been very supportive to me since I started this program. I cannot say how thankful I am to you and to so many of you. As I see your name, I will call them out. Also to DJ Fess for giving me the wonderful opportunity to be on radio. Also to Uma Bagwandin, she's saying good evening. Please shout out to Trish Bagwandin. Happy birthday to her. So Trish Bagwandin, happy birthday to you. May God continue to bless you. This greeting is coming from Uma Bihari Lal Bagwandin. And she is saying, let me see, from Tampa, Florida, and she's sending lots of love for you. It's good when you have people who can love you and who can share their love, also who can tell you all the good things. Anita Diaram, a very good evening to you. My good friend, Miss Nadia Mulchin, all the way from Barbados. She is a registered nurse in Barbados and has been doing such a fantastic job in Barbados. A nurse for over 30 years, I know. Also, Agnes Ramphal, my cousin, she said, nice song, bro. I remember my grandma, she liked to dance, and I love to dance, guys. Only I have to behave myself when I'm on my own show. For Zina Abraham, good evening to you. Bibi Khalil, good to have you on, to my dear. Good for your support. I'm so glad to have you on. Cheryl McIntosh, good evening. Roy Chan, good evening to you. Nice song for a Sunday afternoon. And guess what? I love song with tempo. I like to move. I cannot sit one place. Let's see, we have, I have Aditya. Very good to have Aditya on, locked in. He is in studio. And let's see, we said the Ken Rampersaud Show program. Now, please like and share YouTube, Mixcloud, Facebook Live, TuneIn Radio, and My Turn Radio. Very good. And thank you very much, DJ Fest, for always looking how we can improve this radio station. Bansi Prasad, she's saying, good afternoon, DJ Ken Rampersaud. Nice music for the Sunday afternoon. And like I said, I will take credit for all the talking I'm doing. And the music that's been played today is the man himself, DJ Bolt. Priya Budram, she said again, beautiful song. She was dancing. And it's good to have Sarah Daisy sing Mohabir. I see a new name there. She said it's good to have to be back, yes, and it's good to have you back on the radio. So Joy, she's saying, welcome back to Sarah Daisy Singh. Let's see who else we have here. Naomi Ramdas, my sister, is watching. To the beautiful Brooke Yelena Dudnot. I'm so glad to have her on, and she was one of my guests a couple of weeks ago, and she shared her story when she was intubated, and I'm so glad that God has spared her life, and she is truly blessed to be alive. To my beautiful wife, Geeta Rampersaud, is watching. She is at work, and she should be home soon. On-demand underground songs, Alvin Ramsaroop, it's good to have him on. He is a DJ in Schenectady, New York. So if you guys need any music in Schenectady area, please don't forget to give him a shout out. He's on Facebook. Alvin Ramsaroop, guys, please don't forget, always support him. He's a good guy. And always good to see Sissy McBill. Good evening and good afternoon to you too. Sati Plummer, good to have you on. Varshini Kedarnath, it's good to have you on. Rakia, good to have you on. I see Rakia, you looking very good on Facebook. Keep looking shine and bright, and be the light that you are. Again, you're watching the Ken Rampersaud Show here on Island Zone Radio. Also, guys, I want to say thank you very much to one of my friends who is in Florida, Indira Chadapal. You know what? I'm so glad that she decided that to hook up with me to help the children of Guyana. I said to myself, probably we can send some gifts for the children in Guyana who is less fortunate, who don't have any gifts or whatever it is. So she starts her business, and it's on Amazon, and she said basic essential sanitizer wristband. I'm going to put the picture up so that you guys can see it. She is selling this stuff here. She's saying it's like for the elders, the general public, for nurses, healthcare workers, with soap cap and syringe for easy insertion of sanitizer into the wristband. And guess what? I'm so glad that she says 50% of each sale is being donated to the Ken Rampersaud Show towards his charitable work in helping children in Guyana. And you can click on the link, which I will share later on, or if she's watching, that we can work together, and so you guys could buy some. Also, all the money that she sent to me, I will let you guys know. I'll be sending all 100% in Guyana. I'll pay the whatever shipping it is for the money, or for the transfer fee. I will pay that and make sure that these children, at least if we can get 10 children to help them with a gift who doesn't have parents. So I'm so glad. Indira Chandrapal, thank you very much for linking up with me, and I hope next year we can do greater and better things. As you know, this year is the first year of the Ken Rampersaud Show here on Island Zone Radio. So we're going to get DJ to play another song for you guys, and when we come back, we'll talk some business, serious business. How can we take care of our lungs, and what's some of the exercise that we can do? Also, what we need at this difficult time. And I went and I bought something nice for you guys to see, and I'll do it so that you can see how to check your pulse oximeter in case you suspect that you have the virus, the coronavirus. Okay, let's go, DJ. Guys. Especially for all you ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy for all of you. Welcome back to the Ken Rampersaud Show. That was on fire. DJ on fire today. He started on fire, and he is still on fire. So I hope that he has something nice coming up back again. You know, as I said today, let me say hello to some. I see some names here again. Alvin Ramsarup, thank you very much, and good evening to you, sir. Jayasri Sarju, who is from Lenora, thank you very much for tuning. It's always good to have my Lenora people watching the show. And also Maya Sahai, good evening to you, and she's saying nice tune. So all the big ups going out to DJ Bolt tonight. Shalini Ramutar, good evening, my dear. Deepa Dasrat watching all the way from Florida. And Deepa said, great selection, DJ. Let me see, Shiv Charan, a very good evening to you. To my very good friend, Michael Nalini Naidu, it's always good to have you on. And I know Christmas is coming on and you'll be lighting fire in New York here with the fancy dresses and so on and the parties. Also, we have the man himself, Mr. Arjuna Madre, all the way from Berbice, but we know he's living somewhere in New Jersey. It's always good to have you on, my brother. My sister Naomi Ramdas is watching. Also, you can send some stars for supporting the Ken Rampersaud Show here on Island Zone Radio. As most of you know, that the Ken Rampersaud Show airs every Sunday afternoon from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. And also, I'm on every Monday night with Chit Chat with Shanaz and Ken right here on Island Zone Radio. So, guys, please don't forget to join me every Sunday afternoon. And did you know that in the United States, 12.3 million Americans was diagnosed with the COVID-19, and there is 266,000 people died. I am so glad that I survived. Also, worldwide, we have 62.4 million people who was diagnosed, 40 million people survived, and 1.46 people who died. And did you realize, and you know that earlier during the year, a lot of people was diagnosed and they end up dying from the coronavirus. I am so glad that there's not a lot of people who's dying out now. In New York alone is 639,000 people who was diagnosed with the COVID-19, and 34,049 people died during this period. Also, what I want to tell you guys is that we know that the holiday is coming up, and the holiday just gone, Thanksgiving, and we have been warned on so many times to try to be careful, not to travel, to take it easy. But I know that a lot of people was traveling to different parts of the country here in the United States, and you know what, that's not a good thing. I heard that there was like 100,000 new diagnoses of COVID-19. So I would ask of you guys to, as the holiday is coming up, be very mindful of how you travel. I know it's better to be alive 1 year and enjoy the couple of years more that you have living, or your relatives living the rest of the year. I can't wait for us to get this thing together so that it would not spread anymore. Also, I know that a lot of people talking about the vaccine. I am very optimistic that the vaccine is going to come out soon, and I know sometime next month, which is a couple of days more, that there will be 2 vaccines that will be out, and the 2 vaccines are showing promising results in trials. 2 ongoing trials have been reported. Their vaccines are about 95% effective in preventing COVID-19 infection. And, you know, the vaccines from manufacturer Pfizer and Moderna are both in their 3rd of 4 trial phase, which is very good. They work by tricking the body into creating an immune response for a virus that is not present in the body. No serious safety concern has been found for either vaccine, which is a very good thing to know. Each vaccine has shown only minor side effects, such as the injection site. We know that we're going to get some pain there, also some fatigue and some headache. If the vaccine are approved, they will be required 2 doses, as we know, 2 shots in the arm, 3 to 4 weeks apart. So that's a good news that we are hearing about the vaccine. And, you know, a lot of people are saying, you know what, they are not going to take the vaccine. And in my mind, I'm saying, you know, everybody is adult and they can do whatever they want to do. But I have to tell you that after how I was sick, and I know that we have lost so many people who were sick, I think I'm going to gun for the injection, the vaccine. I will go try it. I'll take it. I will let you guys know. Let me be the trial guy for you guys. As you know that I've been a nurse and I'm going to watch myself. What I'll probably do is take a couple of days off after I get the vaccine, and I'll definitely report to you guys how the vaccine is going to work. And to be honest with you, as a nurse, I don't like vaccine. I hate injections. But then when the patient come for injection, and I try to give them, and they start to whine and so on, I said, listen, this is a small needle you guys got to get. Don't complain about little injection. This is a small thing. So again, we have some promising news for the vaccine. And what I want to tell you guys too, when I was sick, the COVID probably stayed in my system for a month or a couple of weeks or so. But after that, what had really made me sick so bad is that I had the pneumonia in all over my lungs. So that caused a problem. So today, I'm focusing on my the show really on the lungs. How do we take care of ourselves? What are some of the good food that we can eat to help us? And, a lot of people saying, you know what, I am negative, I am not positive, and I'm good, I am safe. And, it says that if you are tested positive for COVID-19, take these steps to help prevent the spread of your COVID-19. Stay home. Do not leave your home. Except to get medical care, do not visit public areas. Like, for example, when I go and buy gas, last night I was showing the guys, I have a big bottle of hand sanitizer in my car. And as soon as I finish pumping the gas, guess what I do? I hand sanitize my hands so that if there's any chance of me getting infected, I'm going to kill it. Get rest and stay hydrated. Also, stay in touch with your doctor. Separate yourself from other people as much as possible. Stay in a specific room away from other people and pets in your home. And, when I was sick, I spent most of the time in my bedroom, stay away from everyone. The thing is that only Geeta was with me in the room and she was sleeping with me. I believe that she had it, but just for like 3 days. If you test negative, listen to this carefully. If you test negative for the COVID-19, you probably were not infected at the time your sample was collected. However, that does not mean that you will not get sick. It is possible that you were very early in your infection when the sample was collected and that you could test positive later on. And a negative test result does not mean that you wouldn't get sick later on. And one of the things that I tell people, for example, you can go to the hospital, test yourself, and it's negative. And while coming home on the bus, guess what could happen? You can get infected by someone. And that is why I advise people that if you have to go get tested, and if you have to go out there, one of the things that you don't want to do is to take public transportation. It's no good. It doesn't make sense. You take the bus or the train. You have to get somebody to take you there, or even for that, probably a good thing is to take a taxi, a Uber, or a Lyft or something to come home. We're going to get in about a couple of minutes more. I'll get DJ to play another song. In fact, let me tell you that 10 things you can do for your COVID and you have to stay home. If you have a possible confirmed case of COVID-19, stay home from work or school and stay away from public places. If you must go out, avoid using any kind of public transportation. Like I said, any kind of taxi. Monitor your symptoms carefully. If your symptoms get worse, call your healthcare provider. Get rest, and you want to stay hydrated. And I'm going to talk about hydrated now because when I was sick, although I know quite a bit, I was not drinking. I didn't have the appetite to eat or to drink anything, and until things really went a little downhill for me. And when I think that I was going really down, then I decided to take the ball in my own hand and to work on things. Because one of the days, I'll share my story while I'm talking to you guys, is that one day after I went to the bathroom, and I pee in a urinal because I could not walk to go to the bathroom. And when I look at my urine in the pee bottle, it was like bloody, very bloody. But it was not blood. It was because I was dehydrated. And after I found out that was happening to me, I said, you know what? It's time for me to take action. And that's when I get my brother-in-laws and the nephews and so on, and they went and they get coconut water to buy. And within a couple of days, like 2-3 days, I was able to fix that dehydration. Also, I've lost 20 pounds within like 9 days. So you have to take this COVID-19 very seriously. Also, if you have medical condition, appointment, call the healthcare provider ahead of time and tell them that you have or may have COVID-19. You just don't want to pick yourself up and go to the hospital. If you have to call EMS or 911 if you're in the United States or Canada, always let them know, 911 responder, know that you may have or you have COVID-19. Also, you want to cover your nose and your mouth and your cough when you're sneezing in a tissue and you throw it away. Wash your hands often with soap and water for at least 20 seconds. And if you don't have water, make sure you have some hand sanitizer, 60% and more. As much as possible, you want to stay in a specific room and away from other people in your home. Also, you should use a separate bathroom if available. If you need to be around other people, it's always good to wear your mask. I don't have the luxury, and I know a lot of you guys don't have the luxury of having 2 bathrooms. So what I would advise you, what I used to do is I had hand sanitizer in the room and I had tissue. So I'll take everywhere that I touch, I will take take some hand sanitizer, I'll put it on the tissue and I'll wipe it down. And for places that I didn't get to go, I let the kids go and they would actually clean up for me, okay? Avoid sharing personal items with other people in your household like dishes, towel, and bedding. And I know, especially in the States, people don't really use towel, like 2 people or 3 people use it. Everybody have their own towel. So try your best not to use their spoon, their fork, or whatever it is. And later on, I'll be talking to you guys, like when you go to the bathroom, you go to a function, what you need to do. Clean all surfaces that you're touching, often like countertops, tabletops, and doorknobs. Use household cleaning sprays and wipe according to the label. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go for another song while I catch my breath for you guys. DJ Bolt on fire today. I see my co-host Tiny Winey Shanaz Hussein watching. Let me big up the man, DJ Sonic. Good to have you on, my brother. All the way from England. And you're doing a fantastic job. Welcome back to the Ken Rampersaud Show here on Island Zone Radio. And Sita Ramsamoj, good evening, and thanks for it's good to have you on. You know, Diaram Samaru, I didn't really plan to talk about this today, but after I see that people doing a lot of traveling and so on, you know, it's really got my attention. I said, let me talk a little bit more about this, and let's see how we can help each other. Also, while I was sick, I documented some things on a videotape, how I was struggling, but I did not pull that out to share it with you guys because it's so personal. And at one time, I did not know how to deal with it, if I'm going to make it or not, but I've never give up. I never thought I was going to die with the COVID-19, but I will not pull out those ammunition as yet. Only if people are not listening, then I'll probably share that struggle with people. But it is a struggle if you get diagnosed with the COVID-19, and especially if you're at the higher risk. And as I said, you know, I am bringing these things in talks that you guys would understand, and I'm going to explain whenever there's a need for any kind of explanation. So if you have any high risk, these are some of the things that's linked as high risk. Based on what we know now, those are high risk for severe illness from COVID-19, and they are, if you're an older adult, people of any of the following who have cancer. As we know, cancer is bad. Also, chronic kidney disease. Also, we have heart condition, such as heart failure, coronary artery disease. Also, COPD, which is a respiratory problem. Also, if you do any form of organ transplant, you know those people need to be secluded, need to be in a room all by themselves. Also, if you are obese, if you have overweight, you are at high risk. Sickle cell disease, if you're smoking, type 2 diabetes, all these things are linked to high risk. So if you have anyone in your household, you need to protect them from this, because some people, a lot of people were very lucky that when they were diagnosed with COVID-19, nothing really happened to them. They didn't even know that they were diagnosed. until they probably do a test and see if they have the antibodies. Okay, what can you do to protect yourself? And here are some of the things that you can do. Limit your contact with other people as much as possible. Also, wash your hands often. And a good thing to do, if you can't get up too often, you keep a hand sanitizer next to you. Avoid close contact with anyone, at least 6 feet away from them. Clean and disinfect frequently of the area that you're touching. Also, avoid all cruise traveling. Anytime you have to travel on the plane or so on, be very careful of what you're doing. You don't want to be around the place. If you are high risk, I want to tell you, stay home. Don't go anywhere. Another thing I'm going to talk about is that when should you go to the emergency, or when should you call 911 for any kind of help? And what you have to do, let's start trouble breathing. And I will share my experience with you guys when you talk about trouble breathing. I remember this is the only night that I was kind of worried a little bit. I normally, sometime in the afternoon, I will throw up, like, I'll keep my bucket next to me, and I would throw up every night when I go upstairs. And this one night, I went upstairs to sleep. And before I sleep, I stand up, and my wife was lying on the bed, and I start to cough, and I could not stop coughing. And I could hear Gita was like, when you're crying and you're trying not to let people know what you're sniffing. I heard she was doing that. So I hope my co-host is watching. I want to say something just now to her. And I was at the other side of the room, and I'm like saying, my God, if I drop dead here, there was so much people live in the house and nobody would know, but Gita is right there. And so I'm standing there, and I know a couple of things went through my mind. I'm short of breath, and I'm watching my breathing, and I said, you know what, here, listen, you got to take control of this, what's going on. And you talk so much on the radio, you tell people what to do, you're a nurse. So I pulled myself together. I said, you know what, let me see how I could best help my own self. So I stand up there, and I was like praying, and I was like, God, please don't let me die tonight. And then I was like telling myself, you know what, let me do all the good things that would help me. So I stop, and I take a deep breath. And I start to take a deep breath, and I was breathing in, holding my breath, exhale. And in my mind, a lot of things going through my mind. I'm saying, when do I tell Gita to call 911? When do I really do that? But I know, and sometimes I'm so close to tell her, listen, better call 911 now. But then I manage to take things under control, and I tell her, give me some of the cough medicine that I have. So I drink some of the cough medicine, and one of them that helps me to sleep. So thank God I stopped coughing. I went to the bed. And when I go to bed, you have to do these things to help your own self, okay? I lie in the bed, and I put myself at ease. And I'm saying, God, help me. And I'm praying, because I know I have 2 little sons. And my wife, I don't want to go yet. But I'm ready to go anytime. I was not hyperventilating or kind of anxious and so on. So you have to, if this happened to you, you want to find yourself, lie quietly or sit quietly, play some music, relax yourself, and do all what you have to do. Persistent chest pain. This is when you call 911. Trouble breathing, persistent chest pain or pressure in the chest area or the abdomen, new confusion or irritability to stay awake. If your lips are becoming blue or your face are becoming blue, if anyone is around you, you notice these kind of things, please don't hesitate. That means that person is not getting enough of oxygen. If the person is having heart problem talking, sudden face drooping, if the person's face droop, you need to call 911. Numbness in the face, arm, or legs. If the person is having any seizures, and we know with a lot of seizures, patient always get the pee on themselves. Any sudden and severe pain, uncontrolled bleeding, severe or persistent vomiting or diarrhea. And we know that if someone they're dehydrated, you know what, vomiting and diarrhea cause more problem for them to become dehydrated. Also, this is not a complete list. If you are concerned, what you need to do anytime you have a problem, you can always call 911. And the other thing is that when do you really call? I hope this show can really save anyone who is in problem, because this is why I'm having this show, the Ken Rampersaud Show, that I can talk about things that could help you guys. with over 30-year nursing experience. I have a lot of experience in terms of addiction and mental health. Also, I have 17 years, at least 10 years of bedside nursing. I'm not the best. I am not that brilliant guy, but I know enough to share with some of you guys who need some information. Also, when to contact your healthcare provider, call your healthcare provider if you have any symptoms, especially if you are an adult, pregnant, or have healthcare concern or condition that puts you at risk for severe illness. Call, text, use your telemedicine, or use your patient portal to contact your healthcare provider. If you need help getting medical care, call 311. If you're in New York, you can get care in New York City, regardless of your immigration status, or if you have the ability to pay or not, you're sick, you will get care, especially if you go to a city hospital. And if you are illegal or you don't have money, I would suggest that you go and call a city hospital, okay? Also, when do you get tested, right? All New Yorkers should get tested, and especially in New York when there's so much places and different parts of the world, you can get easy access to get tested. Go get your tested. Whether or not they have any symptoms, they are at increased risk. Tests are free. You should look for testing site near your home. And as we know, when you go on the computer, you can go like to City Hospital, nyc.org, and you can get place to where to go. Also, you will not be asked anything about your immigration, so please don't think because you're here illegally, you cannot go to the doctor. They have a right to treat you, whether you have your green card or you don't have your green card. Also, you can go, know that there's no public charge that will be following you all over the place. Who should get tested immediately? You should schedule a test as soon as possible if you have symptoms of COVID-19, had close contact with someone who has COVID-19, spend at least 10 minutes within 6 feet of someone who had COVID-19. So if you near to someone who had or who have COVID-19, you want to go double check and to check and see if you have COVID-19. Live or work in an area where the increase of COVID-19 transmission. Just returned from a state with high level of COVID-19. You know, a lot of people did some traveling, and if you did some traveling where you have family members or so, make sure you go get tested. Also, if the test result is negative, talk with your healthcare provider about whether you should get tested again the following week. So I hope this is helping you some or the other. Let's say hello to two of our viewers. And guys, please don't forget to share the page. And when we come back, we will get some songs. So good evening. Everyone is saying Shanti Samad. Yes, Sita, it's my pleasure sharing this information. Debbie Suku, a very good evening to you. My sister Naomi is watching. She said you're giving great information to live better lives, my brother. Thank you very much. Minawati Rampersaud, a very good night to you, my dear. Nayan Chunilal is watching all the way from Guyana. And I have to tell you this, you know, I love Parsad, and I'm so glad that, but I don't like too much black dark Parsad. I like the one that's kind of light. So I'm so glad that Varshini now learned how to make Parsad, and it tastes so good. One of the best Parsad I eat so far. It's nice. She had some, what you call it, Jesus, all the nice things that you had inside. I forget the names, but it tastes really good. And next time I tell her to add some good nuts and so on. So thank you very much, Varshini. We have to eat some in the fridge later. So Nayan, she's doing a fantastic job, and I'm so glad that she is learning to do things. Good to have you on, Radha Totaram. Arifa Mohammed, a very good evening to you. Lovely program. DJ Ken Rampersaud, watching all the way from Trinidad and Tobago. I love my Trini people. Sometimes people don't know if I'm from Trinidad or I'm from Guyana because I've worked with so many people from Trinidad and Tobago. So let's go, DJ. Are you ready for another song? I hope you got something good for us. It surely will impact those that are affected. Let's go, DJ.
We come from the country they call Guyana, land of the bauxite, the rice and sugar. We come from the country they call Guyana, land of the bauxite, the rice and sugar. Me say pack up me grip and let me go. Me God we come back to Guyana some more. Me say fi pack up me grip and let me go. Me God we go back to Guyana some more. Oh Bangali Babu, oh Guyana Babu, oh Bangali Babu, oh Guyana Babu. I am the very best of the Guyanese Babu. I am the very best of the Guyanese Babu. Oh Bangali Babu, oh Guyana Babu, oh Bangali Babu, oh Guyana Babu. Singing in the US and Canada, I am coming back, man, be nice of Guyana. Singing in the US and Canada, I am coming back, man, be nice of Guyana. Me say pack up me grip and let me go. Me got we go back to Guyana some more. Me say fi pack up me grip and let me go. Me got we go back to Guyana some more. Oh Bangali Babu, oh Guyana Babu, oh Bangali Babu, oh Guyana Babu. I am the very best of the Guyanese Babu. I am the very best of the Guyanese Babu. Oh Bangali Babu, oh Guyana Babu, oh Bangali Babu, oh Guyana Babu. I am going back to Guyana to find me one dullahin for this dullaha. I am going back to Guyana to find me one dullahin for this dullaha. Me say pack up me grip and let me go. Me God we come back to Guyana some more. Me say fi pack up me grip and let me go. Me God we go back to Guyana some more. Oh Bangali Babu, oh Guyana Babu, oh Bangali Babu, oh Guyana Babu. I am the very best of the Guyanese Babu. I am the very best of the Guyanese Babu. Oh Bangali Babu, oh Guyana Babu, oh Bangali Babu, oh Guyana Babu. Terry V. Gajraj, that is my name. Singing this song, them is how me get me fame. Terry V. Gajraj, that is my name. Singing this song, them is how me get me fame. Me say pack up me grip and let me go. Me got we go back to Guyana some more. Me say fi pack up me grip and let me go. Me got we go back to Guyana some more. Oh Bangali Babu, oh Guyana Babu, oh Bangali Babu, oh Guyana Babu. I am the very best of the Guyanese Babu. I am the very best of the Guyanese Babu. Oh Bangali Babu, oh Guyana Babu, oh Bangali Babu, oh Guyana Babu.
That's right, that's right. Oh, Bangali Babu, you know, always Terry, always singing good songs, and I love his songs. So very good job, DJ Bolt. I want to say very special hello to Kamla Paul Balram. Also very special hello to my beautiful aunt, Delari Sigobin. And guys, I tell you, I had a dream when I was a young man to come to the United States, and I cannot tell you how happy I am, grateful to have my beautiful aunt, Delari Sigobin, who brought me to the United States in 1990. And it was a big dream that I am living now. Because of her, I get to live all the dreams that I'm dreaming. So to my beautiful aunt, Delari Sigobin, I always say thank you very much for helping me to come to the United States. When we don't have dreams, sometimes God uses some beautiful people in our lives. So thank you very much, my dear aunt. Also, as I said, I had my co-host, Shanaz Hussein. I don't know if she's listening. Give me a thumbs up if you're listening, my dear darling. You know, I had a dream, like I said, many dreams. And one of my dreams was to get on the radio long time ago, but I never thought it would materialize. But I have to say, 1 year now on the Ken Rampersaud Show, and I have the beautiful Shanaz Hussein as my mentor on this show, have showed me all the ropes that I need to do what I'm doing. So again, partner in crime, Shanaz Hussein, thank you so much. And don't forget, guys, ladies and gentlemen, look out. We're going to be back tomorrow night with Chit Chat with Shanaz and Ken right here on Island Zone Radio. So, you know, with the COVID-19, we want to know what are some of the things that we can have home. What would be beneficial for us that we don't have to go to the hospital? And I've always said, and because of the show, actually, I bought a couple of things, and that I will share with you guys some of the things that you would want to keep. And number one of the thing that you would want to keep is a thermometer. If you watch on the screen, you will see that I have a thermometer there. Keep that with you. And it would be beneficial to keep in the house. You want to check if anybody have the temperature, elevated temperature in the house. And I will tell you what temperature when you should seek help or go to the hospital for help. Also, I went and I bought a pulse ox, and they call it pulse oximeter. And I'm sure that a lot of you guys don't know about this. If you go to the hospital, you might see it. The doctor will hook you up with it, and you will see how your blood is working. And I'll talk to you a little bit about it. Then I have my little son right next to me, and I'll do the test and let you see how it is important to have this. So what is the pulse oximetry? It is the pulse ox. It's a quick and needle test free. It measures the amount of oxygen in your blood. It shows whether your heart and lungs supply enough to meet your body needs. Red blood cells carry oxygen from your lungs to your organs, but lungs or heart disease can lower the amount of oxygen in these cells. When it's dropped too low, your body doesn't work as well as it should. Your brain, your heart, and other organs need oxygen to do their work. Your doctor can use the test to find out if you need to breathe in extra oxygen through a tube. As you guys know, they put a cannula over you. Also, what do you do in terms of doing this test, the preparation? And the good thing is that there's nothing that you really need to do special to do this test. Before I forget, I see Rati Raghuvanshi is locked in all the way from England, and I always like to acknowledge my people. Sometimes I forget, and when I see a name, I wanted to say at the same time, she is a registered nurse working in England. It's good to have you on, my dear Rati. We worked many years ago in Georgetown Hospital as a nurse. So I'm going to bring my little son, Kevin, and I will show you how important this is. It is called a pulse oximeter. Okay, come on, Kevin. And it's a little button. Oh, he got on a white shirt, so you guys would not be able to see. And this is a little machine. It's called a pulse oximeter. Okay, what I do, I get his thumb, his finger, and I put it inside of this machine. And what I do, I press the on button, and what it's going to do, this little machine is less than $30. It's going to read for me my oxygen, his oxygen level, and we want to get like 100%, but probably like me, it would be like 97%, 98%. So let's see. His is working. I know he's nervous because his heart rate is going up, It's saying it's like 98% O2 saturation, which means that his blood is doing a good job, his circulatory system is doing a good job in taking the oxygen to all parts of his body, his brains and so on, and his heart rate is 109, which is a little elevated. So I'm going to take it, thank you my little lovely son, and I'm going to put this here that you can probably, I don't know if you can see, but it's saying 98%, you can't see it. So guess what? This is a little machine, guys, you can buy, and I put it under my finger here too. Within a couple of seconds or a minute, it could read what your O2 saturation is. And one of the things that you want to do when your O2 saturation is going down, and like when it's coming close to 90, 89, you want to call EMS, call 911. You get concerned when it's like 93 or so, okay? So make sure you seek help if your O2 saturation is by 93, 92, and guess what? You can do it every 2 hours, okay? Again, you can buy these things and keep it home. A thermometer, which is good to have, and it's not expensive. Also, you can, and it could be disposable. Also, you want to know, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit. I can talk to you about that now anyway because we have a little time. Also, it's important to take your temperature. But the truth of the matter is not everyone has an elevated temperature when you get COVID-19. For me, I just had a temperature probably one time, and it was a low-grade temperature. It's 100.5, and that was it. And after that, I never had a temperature again. Also, and when you have a fever, your body is warning you that something is off and can be a sign that your body is trying to fight an illness or infection. For COVID-19 and higher fever can be presenting symptoms. However, there are viruses to consider if fever is the only symptom. Influenza is still prevalent and sometimes can be considered. If a patient is having the fever, guess what? Not only because you have COVID-19, that means only you will have a temperature. Could be a cold, can be flu, could be everything. Listen to this piece here, that's very important. According to the CDC, they're considering a fever 100.4 Fahrenheit. So if you have a temperature of 100.4, guess what? You need to go and see a doctor. That's a temperature you need to pay attention to. Don't mistakenly and say, listen, I'm going to do this by myself. However, if you went and you check out the doctor, and they give you some medication, they said, okay, you have COVID-19. One of the things that you can do, and I was doing for my body ache, which you don't have to do, but you need to seek help, is that I was taking like 1,000 milligrams of Tylenol to drink every day to help me with my body ache and if there's any fever or whatever it is. So that's what I was doing. Also, we know that you can do, if you're an adult, you can take a thermometer and put it under your tongue. You can also put it in child, the most safest place to put it in the rectum. Also, you can do it in the armpit, the ear. But guess what? We are more modernized now. If I show you the one, it's a little gun, and you just shoot yourself with that. Just pull the trigger, and guess what? It will record. The temperature there, as you can see, it says 98.3. Okay? So I hope that you guys are learning. And these things are not expensive. So if you believe that something is going on with your family, always make sure you go. And you can go to Amazon.com and buy these things. As I said, it's reasonable. I'm going to let DJ play another song. And when we come back, we will talk about the lungs a little bit and pneumonia and see some things. That's how it's going to help you guys. Okay? Again, if you need any kind of advice, what to buy and how to buy these things, just let me know. I'll try to hook you guys up and tell you where you can go get them, okay? You're watching the Ken Rampersaud Show here on Island Zone Radio. And yes, always good to have Maria here. She's always supportive to me. I don't have a lot of people, in my admin. I also have Rajiv Nandalal, who's always been supportive in any way. So you're watching the Ken Rampersaud Show here on Island Zone Radio. Let's go, DJ. That's the girl Kanchan. Guess what? You know, we could never go wrong with Kanchan. I want to say hello, a special hello to Elaine Peters. She's saying good evening to everyone. My good friend, Gonika Singh Sanichar, watching all the way from Canada. Good evening to you, my dear, and thanks for watching. It's always good to have you on. Anjani Deokaran, good evening to you, my dear. Always good to have you on. Michael Nalini Naidu, good to have you on, guys. And please continue to share the page so that, you know, what other people could hear what I'm saying and, you know, will live a better life in with this program. I also forgot to tell you, there is one thing that I want you guys to know about is the incentive spirometer. It's a device that measures how deep you can inhale or breathe in. It helps you to take slow, deep breaths to expand and fill your lungs with air. This helps prevent your lungs problem such as pneumonia. The incentive spirometer is made up of breathing tube and air chamber, and I just bought one for you guys to see exactly what it is and how you use it. So I'm going to sit back a little bit, and this is what it's like, okay? What you do, you pull up inside. It's a good exercise for you guys. Like I said, you buy one, it's very cheap. I think I pay like $15. And like I said, it's incentive spirometer. If you have respiratory problem, pneumonia, you have COPD and so on, it's good to have one. And like I said, it's a device that measures how deep you can inhale or breathe in. It helps you take slow, deep breaths to expand and fill your lungs with air. This helps prevent lungs problems such as pneumonia. The incentive spirometer is made up of breathing tubes and air chambers, okay? That makes us, we go on to talk a little bit about pneumonia. You know, a lot of times, sometimes we take our lungs for granted. And as I was thinking what I'm going to talk about, and I say, you know what, a lot of times we smoke, we do different things, we breathing so many things we're not supposed to. They keep us alive and well, and for most part, we don't need to think about them, you know. And that's why it's important to prioritize your lungs' health. Your body has a natural defense mechanism, right? That's designed to help protect your lungs, keeping dirt and germs at bay. But there are some important things that you can do to reduce, you know, these diseases. And I will tell you also, one, don't smoke, which I'll talk about later on. Avoid exposure to indoor pollutants that can damage your lungs. Secondhand smoke, chemicals in the home and workplace, and radons all can cause or worsen lung disease. Make your home a car-free home. Test your home for radons. Avoid exercising outdoor with bad air. Also, avoid exercising outdoor. You know, sometimes when you go there, you breathe all the time and you're coughing. I does that sometimes, which is no good. And so we want to talk a little bit about pneumonia. And one of the things is that a lot of times we don't focus about, especially with the COVID-19 that's here. One of my biggest problems is that I had pneumonia in all of the lobes in my lungs. And the truth of the matter is, I did not even expect that I will get pneumonia until I was so short of breath and went to the doctor and he said, you know, you are very sick, you know. And I said, really? And that's how I answered him. And then I said, what's going on? He said he had sent me to do a chest x-ray to see what's going on with my lungs. And God knows that when he came and he told me that all of your lobes, you're full, he said you're full of pneumonia. I said, my God, this is something else. So we'll talk about some things, the cause of pneumonia, how it could be treated, and so on. So pneumonia is an infection of the lungs. It causes the air sac of the lungs to get inflamed, irritated, and swollen. They fill up sometimes with fluid or pus, and sometimes we say, in Guyana, we said inflammation. This causes a variety of symptoms with range from mild to severe. Pneumonia is usually caused by bacteria or by virus. It also can cause by fungi or irritants that you breathe in your lungs. How serious pneumonia is depends on many factors. These include what caused the pneumonia. It could be your age and your overall health. And like I said, and I hope that we get to talk a little bit of things that you can really do to help yourself, okay? And one of the best things that you can really do for yourself is to eat a balanced diet, and we will talk more about that. The symptoms of pneumonia can range from mild to severe, like we said before, and some of the common signs, the symptoms, and when we talk about symptoms, we are talking about things what the patient feels, okay? When you talk about sign, is what you can see as a nurse or a doctor, whatever it is. And they include if you're coughing, you have fever, you're bringing up mucus when you cough, difficulty breathing, you have chills, you have chest pain, you may also sweat, you may have headache and feel very tired. Some people may experience nausea and vomiting, also diarrhea. And like I said, if you have COVID-19 and you're vomiting and you're having diarrhea, you know what? It's bad business. You need to get some help. Don't go to the corner store and just buy some things for diarrhea. No, you really want to go to the doctor and let them diagnose you and see how you can get some help. If any of these symptoms are severe, you want to call your doctor immediately. You should also call your doctor if you suddenly start getting worse or after having a cold or a flu. And so many times we hear about walking pneumonia and we don't know really. Sometimes I didn't understand before years ago what is walking pneumonia. And do you guys know what is walking pneumonia? So let's talk about a little bit about walking pneumonia. Walking pneumonia is a mild case of pneumonia. Okay, it's a mild case of pneumonia. It's often caused by a virus. When you have walking pneumonia, your symptoms may not be as severe or last as long as someone who has more serious case of pneumonia. You probably wouldn't need bed rest or stay in hospital when you have walking pneumonia. And I hear people always talk they have walking pneumonia. But I wonder sometimes if they really know what is walking pneumonia and what causes pneumonia. Let's talk about some of the causes. These are some of the most common cause of pneumonia in adults. They can cause problem with pneumonia on their own or after they have a cold or a flu. Bacterial pneumonia usually only affect one part of the lobe, and as you know, we have two lungs, right? We have the left and the right one, like two lobes, and one has three lobes. So then it's only affect one lobe. So when I had my pneumonia, it affected all the lobes in my lungs, okay? Any virus that affects the respiratory tract can cause pneumonia. This includes a flu virus and the virus that cause the common cold. Also, we know that children under 1 year old is one of the most common cause. Viral pneumonia tends to be very mild. Also, it's often get better, right? If you, within 1 to 3 weeks, some fungal pneumonia can lead to, fungal infection, can lead to pneumonia, especially in people with weak pneumonia, with weak immune system. Like I said before, that's why you need to eat a balanced diet, exercise. There are also some fungi that occur in the soil in certain parts of the United States that can lead to pneumonia. You can also get pneumonia through aspiration. And when I talk about aspiration, I don't know if you understand, but I'll tell you exactly what would happen. You know, sometimes we are feeding the older people, or sometimes we play lazy and we want to lay down and eat, right? And the aspiration is, aspiration pneumonia is like if you lie down and you eat, your food get into the lungs, and then guess what? For the older generation, they can cough it out. It's left there, it's lodged there, and it starts to grow bacteria. This is when you inhale particles into your lungs. Also, this could be food, saliva, also liquid or vomit in the lungs. That's why it's important when you have older people sleeping, or you're feeding them or giving them something to drink, you always want to prop their head up, whether you use pillow or however you do it. Always make sure that you prop them up so that they would not be able to get aspirated pneumonia. Also, if you know that someone is getting aspirated, if someone aspirated, one of the things that you can really do to help them is to knock them on the back. Knock them on the back, not too hard, and that what's there in the lungs can pitch out. Also, I forget to mention that when you, if you have problems with your lungs and you have a lot of mucus there, you can sit and lean over a chair. That's what I was doing when I did it, and so on, was hitting my back. So that would break up the thick mucus that's in your back. Also, it occurs more often when you're vomiting and you're most strong enough to cough. If you're strong enough to pelt out that cough or that particle, it's a good thing. The particle also causes some irritation, swelling, and can get infected. This causes pneumonia. We'll get DJ to get another song ready for us. When we come back, we can talk about how is pneumonia diagnosed. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's go. We're going to get another song. You know, I have to, sometimes my throat bothers me, so I have to, when I talk a little too long. So let's go, DJ, with another song. You're watching the Ken Rampersaud Show here on Island Zone Radio. Thanks, guys, for staying with me and watching. This is all for the ladies. Welcome back to the Ken Rampersaud Show here on Island Zone Radio. Ain't you guys love that song? I love it. I could hear it all the time because some say, and that was for all you beautiful ladies who's watching the show. And I see Maria said, beautiful show. I see Anita Shanti, somebody saying good night to Anita Diaram. Good evening to all of you guys. And thanks for watching. Good evening to you, Miss Elaine Peters. Good to have you guys on. Let's see. So let's talk about how do we diagnose pneumonia really? And like I said, you know, a lot of times when we focus about COVID-19, but we don't really think about we can get pneumonia. And here it is. Pneumonia can sometimes be hard to diagnose because the symptoms are the same as bad as cold and flu. Sometimes, you know, if you think that you have pneumonia, you should see your doctor. Your doctor may diagnose pneumonia based on your medical history and the results from a physical exam. He or she will listen to your lungs with a stethoscope. I forgot to bring my stethoscope to see what it looks like, but that's something that the doctor use or the nurse can use from their ears, and they listen to your lungs via the back. Your doctor may also do tests such as a chest x-ray, and I'm sorry I don't have a chest x-ray to let you see what it is really like, or they could do a blood test, which can really help the doctor out. And we also want to know if pneumonia can be prevented. A lot of times I want to believe that it could be prevented, and we'll talk about some of the things that you can do. There are many factors that can raise your risk for developing pneumonia, and these includes your age. We know that people over 65 years have an increased risk because the immune system becomes less able to fight off infection as you age. And this is why it's important as you become older, 65 and older, it's important that you get your pneumonia shot annually, or if it's every 2 years, whenever you get it. Also, we know infant age 2 or younger are also at increased risk because their immune system, they haven't fully developed as yet. We know another important factor is that your health, your environment, regular breathing in dust, chemical or air pollutants, or toxic fume can damage your lungs. And I can tell you that I know when Varshan is doing the nails and so on, those strong fumes sometimes really bothers me. And I can't, even to the things that people use to clean their house, it really bothers me a lot of times. Okay, your lifestyle habits such as smoking cigarette or abusing alcohol can increase your risk. Smoking, as we know, damages your lungs, while alcohol interferes with how your body fights infection. In fact, I had print out some stuff to talk a little bit about alcohol, how it affects your body negatively. And I only have like half an hour more to go, but I think we're going to close off with pneumonia. And probably next week, we will be talking a little bit about how how cigarette can affect your life negatively. Also, you want your immune system. Your immune system, as we know, is weakened sometimes. It's easy for you to get pneumonia because your body can't fight off the infection, and that's exactly what happened to me. This could include the people with HIV and those who have AIDS, have an organ, those who have organ transplants, are receiving chemotherapy, or have been on steroids. We know a lot of times too that people who get chemotherapy, what happens is during chemotherapy, some of the good things in your body damages, some of the good cells in your body, it damages, and your immune system drops, and therefore you're susceptible to any kind of thing. If you are hospitalized, especially in the ICU, we want to know, because the ICU intensive care raise your risk of pneumonia, the risk increase if you use a ventilator to help you breathe. Ventilator makes it hard for you to cough, as we know, and then can trap germs, and that can cause lung infection. If you have recently had a major surgery or a serious injury, recovery from major surgery, one of the things that I always tell people, especially here in the United States, and I know in Guyana, I don't know if things change, but if people had surgery in Guyana, a lot of times I know a lot of people believe that, you sit one place, you don't move, is that you're sick, you can't do anything. One of the things that I've learned in my nursing career in the United States here, and then reading books and so on, if you had surgery, one of the best things that you can really do for yourself is to get out of that bed by your doctor permission, move around, walk do exercise, deep breathing exercise. You know, even you can get one of these little machines that I show you guys, and you do it exercise. You do this every 2 hours. You know. Excuse me, it's making me cough. So try your very best. If you have surgery, get up, do things. Don't sit around and say, you know what, I can't do anything. One of the things that helped me a little bit, I believe, too, is that when I see that I was very sick with the coronavirus, I get up and I start walking. And that's when I see a lot of improvement. I start to walk around the block. I feel like an old man walking around, but you know what? It was all right. I get my strength back. Also, people who have any of the following conditions that are increased risk, as we said, the COPD, asthma, heart disease, emphysema, diabetes, and sickle cell. So if you have all these things, be very careful. And you want to do things that's going to be good for your lungs. If you have COPD, asthma, and so on, any kind of respiratory problem, one of the things that you really want to do is not to be around where things are smelling high-scented, like cologne and perfume and so on. That's why when you, and I don't know if you realize, when you go to the hospital, the doctor will tell you, or they will see a sign, excuse me, you will see a sign that says no high cologne or no perfume, is because it could trigger a lot of problem, allergic reaction if you're going to visit someone. You can also help prevent pneumonia by doing the following things, especially if you're 65 years or older. You want to get the flu vaccine every year. Like I said, people can develop bacterial pneumonia after a case of the flu. You can reduce the risk by getting a yearly flu shot, which we've talked about, get the pneumococcal vaccine, and this year doctor will talk to you about this help to prevent pneumonia caused by pneumococcal bacteria. Also, you want to practice good hygiene. Wash your hands frequently with soap and water and alcohol-based hand sanitizer. A lot of times, sometimes we wash our hands. We don't do what's right. We just, you know, in Guyana style, we wash our hand and we shake our hands and let the water dry out or whatever it is. No, we should get a tissue or get a towel and wash our hand and wipe our hands dry. Okay? Also, we want to don't smoke if you're smoking, and we'll talk much more about that next week or some other time. Smoking damages your lungs, as we talk about, and makes it harder for your body to defend itself against disease and the germs. Also, if you smoke, talk to your family doctor about quitting as soon as possible. Practice a healthy lifestyle. Eat a balanced diet that's full of fruits and vegetables, which we talk about all the time. Exercise regularly. Get plenty of sleep. But I'm not telling you to sleep 20 hours a day. Get at least 8 hours of sleep. These things help your immune system stay strong. Avoid sick people. If you are around sick people, try to protect yourself. There is no way that you know someone is sick and you're going to be around them. Also, being around people who are sick increase your risk of catching what they have, and we know that that could happen. Okay. Also, we want to know if there's a vaccine. Is there a vaccine for the pneumonia? There is no vaccine for all types of pneumonia. We know that there is 2 vaccines that are available. They help to prevent pneumonia that we said cause a pneumococcal bacteria. The first is recommended for all children younger than 5 years of age. The second is recommended for age 2 or older who is at risk for pneumonia. Getting the pneumonia shot, as we said, the vaccine is especially important, as we said before. If you are older, 65 years of age old, if you have asthma, disease, lung disease, diabetes, heart disease, sickle cell disease, and cirrhosis of the liver. And as we know, a lot of times that when you drink a lot, you can develop cirrhosis of the liver, and that's a bad problem there you have. Also, we want to know if you get diagnosed with pneumonia, what are the treatments? And I can tell you, when I was diagnosed with pneumonia, what I did, I went to the doctor, and depending on several factors that include what caused your pneumonia, how severe is your pneumonia, how healthy you are overall how healthy you are, and at your age. For bacterial pneumonia, your doctor will provide prescribed antibiotics. Most of your symptoms should improve like within a few days, not like today or you start taking your medication today. expect that you will feel better today. You want to take your antibiotic and give it at least 3-4 days before you start to feel any way better. Also, I want to tell people, also, when you're taking antibiotic, please make sure that you take your antibiotic consistently as the doctor order. For example, if the doctor say take your medication 2 times a day, please make sure you take your medication 2 times a day. And I noticed some people, they said, you know what, if I start to feel better, I'm going to stop take my antibiotic. No, you need to complete your antibiotic. What the doctor order, complete your thing, okay? Don't say that I'm going to take half and leave the rest, okay? We're going to get ready for another song by DJ Bolt, and then we're going to talk a little bit, and when we come back, what you can do at home to feel better with your pneumonia. Let's go, DJ Bolt. You are watching the Ken Rampersaud Show here on Island Zone Radio. Let's go.
कहीं दूर चले जाए हम, कहीं दूर चले जाए हम, दूर इतना कि हम छू न सके कोई हम, कहीं
Good evening, Mr. Gopal Gangaram. Welcome back to the Ken Rampersaud Show here on Island Zone Radio. Yes, Michael Nalini Naidu, Dance Girl, Dance, and Maria Harris is sending out love. Bibi Rocky Sarju, good evening and good night to you. And she's saying good evening to everyone. Yes, Maria, that's my favorite song. I just like nice songs that could move my heart. So if you have pneumonia, what can you really do at home to feel better? So one of the things you want to do is get lots of rest. Rest will help your body fight the infection. You want to drink a lot of fluids. Drink will keep you hydrated. They can help loosen the mucus in your lungs, because we know a lot of times you have a lot of mucus inside of you, and they could be very thick, and you don't want that. You want to drink a lot of fluid that could help you to loosen up this mucus so that you could cough it out. Also, you want to stop smoking if you smoke and avoid secondhand smoke. Again, stop smoking if you smoke and avoid secondhand smoke. Smoke can make your symptoms worsen. A lot of times we don't realize that smoking can also increase your risk for developing pneumonia and other lung problems in the future. You should also avoid lit fireplace. And a lot of people don't know if you have, allergy problem, you got problem with your lungs. It doesn't good to have a lit fireplace. Also a rug and so on. It harbor a lot of dust. Okay. Also, you should also stay home from school or work until your symptoms go away. This usually means waiting until the fever breaks and you aren't coughing up any mucus. Also, one of the things that I like to use, but I haven't used in a while, but I was using it when I had the COVID, use a cold mist humidifier to take a warm bath. So that lit the humidifier. It's a good thing. And also, there's so many other nice scented stuff that you could buy to put in that humidifier to make your house smell good and to help with your lungs. And I promise you guys, one day I will do a show with all the good things, the benefits of using all those oil like gardenia and so on. I start already to get information on them. Also, living with pneumonia, your doctor may schedule you for an appointment to go and see them all the time, every couple of weeks or whatever it is. One of the things that you don't want to get stressed out. Also, when should you go see your doctor? A lot of times we know that shortness of breath is no good. You should call your doctor if you have a cough that wouldn't go away, short of breath, chest pain, or if you have a fever. Again, I said if you have a fever, you need to go to your doctor and check it out, what's going on. You should also call your doctor if you suddenly begin to feel worse after a flu or a cold. And when you go to the doctor, just don't go there and sit down and let the doctor do what you want to do. You want to have the doctor ask some questions, and that would help you when you go home. You want to know if you have a chronic condition, and when I mean chronic condition, that's something that you will have it until you die, or going to last a long time. Also, you want to know if you're a high-risk pneumonia. Do I have bacterial, viral, or fungal pneumonia? What's best treatment they have? Also, you want to know if you're contagious. And when I say contagious, that means if you go home, you're going to share it with anyone else. What I can do at home to help relieve the signs and symptoms, a good thing to ask. What are the possible complications of your pneumonia? You'd want to ask that. What should I do if my symptoms don't respond to treatment or get worse? And sometimes the doctor order you, like I said, antibiotic, and you doesn't feel any way better for 2 days. One of the things that you really want to do is to continue taking your antibiotic. But you see, like if a week or so is passed and that you haven't feel any way better, what you will need to do is to contact your doctor and let them know that, listen, the antibiotic that you order for me, it's not helping me. So guess what? They can always change your antibiotic and give you something else. Or what they can do is to add another antibiotic. Okay? Also, what I find very interesting, and you guys know, is some of the foods to eat if you have pneumonia. Add the following food in your diet is controlling the symptoms of the infection. Also, one thing I forgot to tell you, if you're diagnosed with COVID-19, you don't want to take anything like Motrin. You want to take things like Tylenol and so on, okay? These foods will help in the health maintenance of your lungs and prevent the development of an infection in the respiratory tract. They also increase your immunity and help to fight infection. And you must have them along with the medicine prescribed for your doctor. A lot of times, a lot of people saying to themselves, you know what, I'm just going to take some honey and drink it and see if I'm going to feel well. But what I want to tell people, as a nurse, you know, the best thing to do, and I try to do these things before, go to your doctor, get your medication, take your medication, complete your medication. So when you're home, you want to drink plenty of fluids, and it is highly recommended if you are suffering from pneumonia, not only water, but also fluid like juices. You want to help loosening up the mucus from your lungs. They flush out the harmful toxins and help in getting rid of the foreign particles that cause an obstruction in the respiratory tract. Also, what I find that's very useful for me when I had the COVID-19, to loosen up all this mucus and to help me with my dehydration, I was drinking like 4 coconut a day. And as we all know, that drinking coconut water is a good thing to do. It's full of electrolytes. Also, we want to eat a lot of stuff that's whole grain. The carbohydrate contents in the whole grain, like you heard about quinoa, brown rice, oats, barley provides energy to the body during this time. Also, the vitamin B in them helps to produce the energy that we need and keeping the body temperature in control. The selenium mineral that's present in the grain strengthen our immune system. So some of the good things that you hear that I'm talking about, try it if you have never tried. Also, we want to eat protein-rich food. A diet rich in protein is beneficial for people who are suffering from pneumonia. Food like nuts, we have talked about, seeds, beans, white meat, and cold water fishes like salmon and sardine have anti-inflammatory properties. They also repair the damaged tissues and build the new tissues in the body. We have said it over and over again. It's good to eat nuts, salmon, a lot of seafood, sardine, okay? A lot of green leaf vegetable is good to eat. Leafy vegetable like kale, I've always said kale, lettuce, spinach are packed with nutrients that help in the healing of the respiratory infection. They contain antioxidants that protects the body against any infectious agent. Like, you know, we say this all the time. Make sure you add a salad to your diet when you're eating. Even when you're healthy, it's a good thing to do, okay? Also, you want to eat citrus food. We know that citrus food is good. The vitamin C citrus food like oranges, berries, kiwi help in boosting the immune system and thus promote a speedy recovery. They also contain antioxidants that protect the body against foreign agents. Let's go for another song and then we'll come back. We'll talk about the probiotics. Let's see if our DJ is ready for another song. You're watching the Ken Rampersaud Show here on Island Zone Radio. Good to have my good friend Veronica.
कोई समझा नहीं, कोई जाना नहीं। जिंदगी का सफर है ये कैसा सफर, कोई समझा नहीं, कोई जाना नहीं। है ये कैसी डगर, चलते हैं सब मगर, कोई समझा नहीं, कोई जाना नहीं। जिंदगी को बहुत प्यार हमने दिया, मौत से भी मोहब्बत निभाएंगे हम। रोते रोते ज़माने में आए मगर हंसते हंसते ज़माने किधर है किसे ये खबर, कोई समझा नहीं, कोई जाना नहीं। ऐसे जीवन भी हैं जो जिए ही नहीं, जिनको जीने से पहले ही मौत आ गई। फूल ऐसे भी हैं जो खिले ही नहीं, जिनको खिलने से पहले फिजा खा गई। है परेशान नजर, थक गए चार अगर, कोई समझा नहीं, कोई जाना नहीं। जिंदगी का सफर है ये कैसा सफर, कोई समझा नहीं, कोई जाना नहीं।
That's a beautiful song there that you heard there. One of my favorite songs. Again, you're watching the Ken Rampersaud Show here on Island Zone Radio. We want to talk about the probiotics. Food like yogurt contains the probiotics, which inhibits the growth, the pneumonia-causing pathogens. They also boost the immune system as they increase the good bacteria in the guts. And a lot of times we say it's good for women to eat too. Yogurt is very good. A lot of times we hear about honey, but we don't know how beneficial honey is. Honey is known for its healing properties for a long time in aid of curing of cough and cold, which are the symptoms of pneumonia. It has antibacterial and antimicrobial properties. Also, I didn't know, first time I'm hearing about this tea is fenugreek tea. If any one of you guys have ever heard about this, it's spelled F-E-N-U-G-R-E-E-K, Greek tea. And I tell you, I was surprised. I've never heard of this tea before. The tea might help in curing the persistent cough, which I will try because I always have a cough, one experience in pneumonia. Also, research show that the tea seed can help a person in sweating, which reduce their body temperature during the fever. We heard so many things about the turmeric. It's also good. We know act as a myocolytic, which means it helps to remove the mucus, right, from your bronchioles duct, which can lead to easy breathing. It even has anti-inflammatory properties that reduces chest pain. It can also be consumed both with milk or in a tea form. And as we all know that, it is very good for us to take things like turmeric, okay? Another thing that we didn't realize or we know, but we don't consume, and I am one of the person who really don't, I try to do it when I can with things like ginger. Ginger can help in fighting the pneumonia causing microbes, which it's anti-inflammatory and anti-bacterial properties. It helps to reduce the chest pain, which is a symptoms of the infection. You can consume it in the form of ginger tea to ease the pain. So, these are some of the things that's good for us to do. I see we only have like 4 minutes more to go. One of the things that which I doubt whether I'll be able to talk about, but I can give you a briefing on it, is the how do you really talk to your children about the COVID-19? And one of the things that couple things that you can do, ask open question, and you want to listen to your children properly. And I think later on, Shanaz and myself, we can really talk about this. Be honest and explain the truth to your children. Show them how to protect themselves from their friends and from their families. How they could wash their hands. You teach your children how to wash their hands. And when you don't have water, what you can do, you can give them, and both of my boys always have their hand sanitizer with them in their bag or on their person. Also, what you want to do is to reassure your children. My boys, sometimes when I was sick, they don't want to hear that I was sick, to be honest with you. They didn't want to really discuss it. So a good thing you want to do is to have a conversation with them and let them know what to expect. And like now I tell them to be very careful where they go and how they do things, because you know what, anybody could bring in this thing in the house, your house, my house, anywhere. Check to see if they're, we want to make sure that the information that we are getting and your children are getting, that they're getting the right and correct information. You don't want people to tell them the wrong thing or tell them, oh, your dad or your mom is going to die because they have COVID-19. You want to give them that information of how things. Also, you want to look for helpers. It is important for children to know that people are helping each other and the act of kindness, and people are still generous out there. And one of the best things that you can do for yourself is take care of your own self. Like I said, you always want to be calm and control what's going on in your environment. You also want to close your close conversation with care. It's important to know that when you're not leaving children in a state of distress, that you let them know that, listen, dad or mom is sick, and that they're doing the right thing, and that they're doing what is best for everyone. And that, you will reassure them that dad will get better or mom will get better, okay? I think that's about it for tonight's show. I have a lot of things more I want to talk about, so I wish if you guys can, but we couldn't get to talk about it tonight. Also, like I said, Maria Harris said she had wanted to interview me and ask me how I do the show, and so probably I will let her do that next week. We can probably come together, team up, and see what we can talk about. The studio is big enough that we can be 6 feet apart from each other, so it will be good. I'm going to see if you still want to do that. If not, we'll talk about some cigarette smoking, the negative effect cigarette smoking has on us. Also, guys, if you can go on my page later on, and you can get the stuff that my friend Indira is selling. Chandra Paul, what she's selling, the hand sanitizer. As like I said, 50% of sale will go towards the children in Guyana who don't have parents, as a Christmas gift for them. So you can just do that. Or if I was thinking, even if you want to donate anything to me, to the Ken Rampersaud Show, go ahead and do it. I'll make sure that children who don't have parents or those who are less fortunate will have a very pleasant Christmas. Again, once again, thank you very much for watching the Ken Rampersaud Show here on Island Zone Radio, and I really do appreciate all of you who watch the show on a weekly basis. I cannot tell you how grateful I am. Thank you very much, and do have a very pleasant week ahead of you. It's 7 o'clock. It's now 7 o'clock. Let's DJ take it away. You are watching the Ken Rampersaud Show here on Island Zone Radio.
क्या हुआ, कैसे हुआ, कब हुआ, अब क्या सुनाए?
ICC, I think you have to take it every once a year or every 2 years. I'm not definitely sure, but it's over a year, or I think 2 shots in a lifetime. I gotta check and get back to you. Good evening to my good friend Veronica Jackson-Wiltshire, always watching my show 2 times. Thank you very much. Gino Ali, thanks for watching the show. To Maria Harris, I want to say thank you very much for watching the show. Thank you so much. Keep coming back. Bibi Rocky Sarju, thank you very much for watching. Send some love there.
हम क्यों